Welcome to Tristan and Tommy's Carousel of Useless. You're in for a real treat. The Two Useless Organisms was Tristan and Tommy's own idea from beginning to end. They loved it. They introduced the show on the internet in 2020 and was an immediate smash hit. Dozens of people came to listen to it, and since then, the Carousel of Useless had episodes than any other podcast in the history of content creation. You know, Tristan and Tommy loved the idea of useless. They themselves were probably as useless as anyone could be. They thought it would be fun to listen to two useless organisms go through the 2020s, experiencing all of the wonders as they came, and they put them together in a show called Two Useless Organisms, which we're about to listen to. Although our useless family has experienced a few changes over the years, our show still revolves around the same theme, and that's being fucking useless. May the show begin!
Welcome to Two Useless Organisms, a silly topical show where two useless organisms discuss today's hot topics, drink each other's philosophy juice, and read the internet's most unbelievable Yelp reviews. On today's show, we will discuss 2 weeks of vampire dong and deleting social media. Keep in mind that Two Useless Organisms is not safe for work, so Meryl Streep's dirty stained underwear.
Vampire dong.
Yeah,
two weeks of it specifically.
Spoilers.
I can't wait to get to that.
Spoilers. Yep. And then, as for my last note there, Meryl Streep's dirty stained underwear. I know that's not linguistically profane, but I think it's still rated R in nature, so that should still give you an idea of what we're all about on this show.
Speaking of linguistic nature, anybody else here seen Squid Game 2?
I have not yet. My girlfriend finished the whole thing, but I've not watched any of it.
You haven't watched any Squid Game?
Not the season 2.
Okay.
I know.
All right. No spoilers then, but not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I fucked with it.
Good.
I was nervous after season 1 how they can continue with the season 2, but I like what they did.
All right. They did good.
Yeah.
Well, Happy New Year, all. As usual,
2025.
2025. What do you know? We had a big old hiatus. Last time we put an episode out was mid-August.
Yeah.
As usual, I did some traveling. I got back from Vegas right before we put that episode out, and then I did a nice little Illinois, Chicago trip to visit family, friends. My best friend got married, and then we also visited my girlfriend's brother in Chicago, and I got to see the city of Chicago for the first time in like 8 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah. I fly into the airport and then I get the hell out. So I actually got to see the city.
I feel like my fall was pretty insane too. It was like at the end of August, I went up to North Carolina to see my family. Then I saw Green Day, which on their most recent tour, they played all of Dookie and all of American Idiot all the way through, which is fucking crazy. Like their two best albums, and they did a 2.5 hour set. So like it was those two albums with other songs, including some of their new stuff that I love. And then, a week and a half, 2 weeks later, went to Georgia to see Hans Zimmer. And at the end of September, went to New York, was on Long Island and in the city. Finally got to go to Ellis Island to see some of my roots a little bit. End of October, went to Miami. And throughout all of this was Horror Night season and my final 2 classes of my master's degree. So I am now even more overqualified and underpaid. And I had an insane fall, but now I'm chilling.
Well, that makes a stupid person like me feel superior because I have a associate's degree, so I am perfectly qualified and underpaid.
And we make the same amount of money. So yeah.
We're both sitting here talking into microphones and or pens in Florida. Yeah, no one's listening, so this doesn't really matter.
Who knows? Hey, we have a couple people at least.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Good.
Hope you're doing good.
It's all good. All is well. She's from Long Island, my girlfriend. So
hey yo.
So I got to visit there for the first time last January, just about a year ago. I got to see New York for the first time.
Wonder if they know my friends that got married.
Maybe.
They might.
I'll ask if they know old Betty and John.
That's right.
Yep. All right. Well, so my most recent adventure, speaking of adventures, was I saw the movie Nosferatu every day for 14 days straight. Okay. And I told Tommy this before we started rolling, and he was puzzled, and I said, I will tell you later. So here we are.
Yeah.
Long story short, I ran my mouth on what was formerly known as Twitter. And I tweeted at the official Nosferatu account saying, if you send me a signed poster, I will go see the movie every day for 2 weeks. Nothing. Nothing happened. So a couple days later, I tweeted again. I said, "You think I'm kidding?" But I'm not. I don't even care if you have the rats sign it because if you know anything about the movie, there's a lot of rats in it. Well, shortly thereafter, I was sitting on the toilet at my girlfriend's old home because she just moved. Um, and I checked my DMs and there it is. Send us your address. So, from the official Nosferatu account. So I said challenge accepted. I sent my address. And before I was even done sitting on the porcelain throne, I had subscribed to AMC A List to make sure I get this financially taken care of. And, um, and here we are now over 2 weeks later. I did it. In the course of those 2 weeks, I helped my girlfriend move. I got sick twice. I worked a full-time job. I had to take care of my dog. I had to take care of my room, my house. So it's a crazy time. Do you have questions,
But you
Tommy?
still saw, but you, through all that, you still saw Nosferatu every day at a
Yep.
movie theater. So you said you got AMC A-list. Now, to my knowledge, AMC A-list, you can only do 3 movies a week, right?
Correct.
So you did have to pay for 4 of those tickets.
Yeah, I had to pay for a few of them there, whether it was at AMC or I went to another local theater
Okay.
that I actually like more. So I was happy to go to that one if I
Okay.
could. There were a couple
Yeah.
days where it was discount Tuesday, so I got the ticket half off.
Yeah.
I still spent a pretty penny because I got concessions
Yeah.
every single time. So
Oh my God. Jesus. That's an expensive adventure right there.
yeah, it was, but
Um,
but um, it was great, and I will justify my insanity for a brief moment.
okay. Yeah, no, justify it, bro. Let me hear it.
The director Robert Eggers made a movie back in 26. Well, he made it in 20, I think 15, but I saw it in 2016 in theaters called The Witch, and I loved the movie. I loved it very, very much. And shortly thereafter, some buzz came out about him possibly doing Nosferatu. He wanted to do Nosferatu. His name was attached to a Nosferatu remake for a little bit. It ended up falling apart for a few years for different reasons. Um, and whatever. So, but as soon as his name was attached to that, I was like, oh my God, that'd be perfect because I liked The Witch so much. And it's a very subtle, slow burn horror movie where a lot of what's going on is under the surface. It's happening, you know, there's a witch. I won't spoil it. In the movie The Witch, there is a witch, but a lot of the horrific things that happen because of what happens internally among a family that gets torn apart because of something the witch does at the beginning of the movie. So anyway, because the horror element it was so subdued, I was like, this would be great for Nosferatu because Nosferatu is a similar type of story. A movie that came out in 1922. They didn't have a lot of effects and things at the time to make a big flashy movie like we know as horror movies now. So I knew he'd be perfect. And anyway, through all of his subsequent movies, I was like, this guy's amazing. He's one of my favorite directors.
Mm.
No, I'm on board for Nosferatu. I knew I was going to love it. I knew I was going to see it in theaters more than once anyway. Um, they ended up sending me the signed poster right away. Like I didn't even have to prove that
Wow.
I was doing it. They just sent it to me. But I'm a man of my
Wow.
word. So I went ahead and I did it. Saw it every day for
And you
14
sent them
days.
the evidence.
Yeah, yeah.
I would hope.
It's all on
Good.
like I have two separate threads on my X account. I guess I still call it Twitter, but I have two
Yeah,
separate
no,
threads on
always
there that
call Twitter.
exactly. One of them
Elon
is
Musk dead
me.
names his kid. You did name his website.
Yeah, you got that right, man. X is so weird. Like no one wants to call it X.
Yeah.
Call it Tesla or something. I don't even know.
Why,
Just
why,
not
why is
X.
he obsessed with the letter X?
I don't know, man.
SpaceX. There's some other fucking thing he did called X, probably
Oh,
within. It's like
something
one of
like
those
that.
things like you get obsessed with that letter when you're a kid and name everything X, but he's like a grown ass fuck.
I know.
Anyways, continue.
I think we're at the age now where like X for the longest time was like the coolest letter because you could like add it
Dude, right?
to different things and it was cool. But like I'm more of a fan of like maybe a B, perhaps an M.
Yeah.
A Q is always nice. So I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm X is so last minute. Maybe a W, which is really double
W.
V
Dude.
because when you look at it, it's two V's, but V's were used back in the day, so it's called W. What the heck? A little bit of history
Sure.
there for you.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my topic is 14 Days of Nosferatu, and if you don't know what the 14 Days of Vampire Dong is a reference to, you'll just have to go see the movie. But all right, so
Hey, yo.
I gave the backstory as to how this occurred. I'll talk a little bit about my viewings now because seeing a movie every day for 14 days is kind of a weird experience. It's no one, I don't think a lot of people do that typically, except maybe clinically insane people, which I might qualify as. The people on Reddit certainly seem to think so. But after my first viewing, I knew I'd be seeing it again anyway. So, like, even before my first viewing, I knew that I'd like Robert Eggers' movie so much. I knew I would see this multiple times because there's always something new to see. So the first time I go see a movie, I do not go in analytically. I don't look for anything. I just let the movie play in front of me. I just let it happen. And then wherever it takes me mentally is where it takes me. That's my favorite way to see a movie. But unfortunately, because I have bad memory, that usually means I won't actually remember a whole lot, which is why I usually have to see something twice if I really want to soak it all in. The movie was marketed to tease Orlok, the vampire's appearance. So if you've seen trailers, the posters, anything like that, they do not show the vampire, which essentially, if you're not familiar with Nosferatu, it's a retelling of the Dracula story with different names. And slightly like culturally different because Dracula takes place in, well, they take place in generally the same area, but Nosferatu specifically takes place in Germany. So some differences there, but they tease the vampire. They do not show you him. Only like a week before the movie came out did they even show you what his voice was going to sound like through a clip on Jimmy Kimmel. So that's what I was most excited to see was how they teased the vampire. When you see the movie, and this isn't really a spoiler, they very slowly present the vampire throughout the movie. You don't really see all of him
Ooh.
at once at the beginning. They slowly give you more and more of him throughout the whole movie. So there was that constant anticipation throughout the movie, which kind of helped carry you through
Ooh.
pacing wise, which was neat. But I was surprised to see how integral Lily Rose Depp's character and Nicholas Holt's characters were, which they're the two main characters that are not the vampire, essentially. They're the people that the vampire is antagonizing, we'll say. Um, they were so great. Nicholas Holt and Lily Rose Depp were so great as the leads. I was shocked. Like I really didn't think they were going to carry the movie the way they did, but they were phenomenal. And in my opinion, they outperformed Bill Skarsgård, who plays Orlok. Now, as we know, Bill Skarsgård plays Pennywise the clown in the new It movies.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of a high
Hmm.
pitched clown voice. In this movie, he has a
Yeah.
very low, like
Ooh.
vampire voice, super low. Apparently, he trained with an opera singer to lower his voice a full octave.
You
Um,
know, I never saw the second It movie, but one of my friends once said that Pennywise, like Bill Skarsgård in 2017, It kind of sounded like Scooby-Doo, and I can't get that out of my head.
well, I can
Like I
tell you
can't unhear it.
his Count Orlok
I
is
love that movie, by the way.
not. Oh,
Like,
I love it. When the first
yeah.
when that It movie came out, I was blown away. I was like, this is actually
Oh my
really
God,
good.
yeah,
That's a really
yeah,
well done movie, and Bill Skarsgård is great in that, and he's phenomenal in this role too.
yep.
Because the physical transformation, you cannot tell it's him at all. He's covered in
Wow,
prosthetics, head to toe.
yeah, that's incredible.
So, that was really great. But I special props to the other actors as well. I will say Willem Dafoe is also in it, and I will see absolutely anything Willem Dafoe is in. So him being
Valid.
in it was also
Yep.
great. With each subsequent viewing after the first and second, I was able, well, starting with the second, I was able to look for something I didn't notice before, whether it be background characters,
It's
music,
always fun.
noticing exactly. You can notice how
Yeah,
a take, how long a take is, how the camera moves through the scene, what the set design is like, and all this case. And in this case, the lighting is very unique because their cinematographer used either real fire or candlelight to light a lot of the scenes. If he didn't have to use electric lighting, he didn't. So what he would do is he would use lots of candles or fire to light a scene, and if he needed more, he would just use mirrors to amplify it. Um, and I was like, that's brilliant, and it really comes across when you see the movie because it looks so real. It feels like you're really there in a firelit scene, and they also use a lot of good moonlight, which they used artificial moonlight when filming a lot of these scenes, just because moonlight is hard to get, especially when you're filming for 12 hours. Like, how do you get the same moonlight the whole time? But it still looks fantastic. Their use of moonlight, firelight, candlelight, snow is really great. So you can always look for something new, and that's what I did with all these viewings. On the stranger side of things, I will say after about 5 or 6 viewings, there's like a strange, funny spell of deja vu kind of set in where the movie starts, a certain song starts playing when the movie starts, and it feels kind of surreal because you realize that you're about to relive the same 2 hours and 13 minutes again and again and again and again, including the same trailers over and over and over again before the movie. And I will tell you, if there's anything that drove me mad about this, it was not seeing the movie 14 times. It was seeing the same trailers 14 times.
You could have sat out of the trailers.
I did. And there were some cases I got there a little later because
Yeah,
they start the trailers at the advertised
yeah.
start time. But I don't like to arrive to the theater late. My first job was
No,
working in
I
a movie
valid.
theater, so I was always judgmental of the people that would come in
Yeah.
and buy a ticket for like the movie that starts at that minute, but whatever. Um, so that was probably the weird part, but I do want to say like this apart from my fanaticism with the director, and I've always been a
Mhm.
fan of the original Nosferatu ever since I saw it as a teenager. This movie holds up so well that at no point did I feel like, oh yeah, I got to get through it because I made that promise. So, oh, I got to get through this boring scene again. There is no boring scene. The momentum carries you throughout the whole movie, start to finish perfectly. The pacing is wonderful, and it's over before you know it. Like it really does just fly by because it's so compelling the entire time. Um, so I highly recommend Nosferatu for anybody who's a horror fan or just wants to see a good movie. That's just a great, well-crafted movie. That's 10 years in the making. This guy's been working on it for 10 years. He's had a script written
Wow.
for 10 years, and he finally got it made. So he's worked out the
Wow.
kinks.
Dang. It's like definitely a movie that's had my curiosity and
That was my last 2 weeks, and honestly, it made time go by so fast because some days I had to leave work and go straight to the theater, and I was always planning, things around this. And like I said, I helped my girlfriend move. I was sick twice. I had to, work a full-time job and all these sorts of things. So the planning element of it, like keeping myself that busy, allowed the time to just fly by. So Christmas was over 2 weeks ago for me. Like obviously, the first time I saw
yeah.
it was Christmas morning when it came out,
Oh wow.
but I think that was 15 or 16 days ago now. Was like, whoa, that time flew by.
Dang.
So yeah, that's a little experience. I don't Here's the other thing. I don't recommend you go see a movie 14 times in a row from the financial aspect. Even if it's brilliant, I was only doing it because I kind of brainwashed myself into thinking like, okay, this will be fun. This will be a unique experience. However, I don't think there's a movie that you could watch 14 times in a row that would actually be like worth it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you to watch your favorite movie 14 times in a row.
Tell that to little kid me with the live action Scooby-Doo. So I
All right.
watched that thing every day when I got the DVD, bro. For real, for real.
I will tell that to younger dumbass Tommy, but I'm staring at
Hell
older
yeah.
dumbass Tommy right now, and I'll talk to him in the
Yeah.
meantime.
Still
Um,
a dumbass.
that's basically it. If unless someone's sending us money, which I'm always pleased to hear about, I know you have something to talk about as well.
Yeah. Well, Tristan, I do have a really deep and personal question to ask you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a problem where you can't find your podcast microphone and at the same time you need to write notes?
Yeah, I've had that
Well,
all the time.
then I have the perfect product for you. That is the microphone pen. Never again will you not be able to record your podcast or your singing or things, and you can write with it. Microphone pen. Thank you for sponsoring our podcast.
Tommy, just because 4 months have gone by doesn't mean I'm not going to forget that I'm pretty sure that was our last sponsor for our last
Yeah,
episode.
no, and they were a great sponsor, which is why I'm so happy that they partnered with us again.
Ah,
You know,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. I'm
it's
I'm
like I
happy
really,
too. Thank you,
yeah,
microphone pen.
microphone
Cool.
pen. Sorry, I'm always very thirsty for water.
Yeah, water's good. Water takes up like 120% of your body, so it's good
Yeah,
to do that. Well, okay. Thank you, microphone pens.
yeah, you should be thanking them. All
All
right,
right.
so it's time to get into my topic, eh?
Yeah.
All right. So, about 2 months ago, I deleted all my social media, my Facebook, my Instagram, my TikTok. That's it. They're gone. Now, I still use Reddit, YouTube, and I do have a Finstagram, a fake Insta where I shit post sometimes. But main accounts I have deleted. It was kind of something that I was considering doing for a while. It was kind of in the back of my head of like, I feel like it would be nice to delete my social media. But then I always felt like they were really good communication tools, like really good to be able to just find someone on social media if I needed to, or just good way to keep in touch with people or whatever. Um, but then the election happened. Honestly, I'll be honest, that was the final trigger for it. I didn't want to get too far into it, but I just remember 2016 to 2020. Every fucking day it felt like there was just a headline of Trump saying something really fucking stupid, and then I would have to see everyone's fucking take on it. I would see a million takes on this, a million of the same take on everything. Um, and I'm kind of jumping around all over the place. TikTok, I think that like I don't want to sound like like an anti-TikTok person, because I think there's a lot of great content on there, but that app is so fucking brain rotting. It is so dangerously addicting, just the way that your algorithm gets you and just the way you can mindlessly scroll through videos. Like the way that I would just like want to watch a couple TikToks, then like a couple hours would go by. And I feel like it was getting to a point where it just felt like I was watching the same shit a lot. Like, you would like one video about one thing, and then you would see like a very similar video just talking about the same thing in a very similar way. And like, I remember like, when the P. Diddy shit was happening, I was getting so many P. Diddy TikToks. Some were kind of insightful with different takes, but like I just kept seeing the same shit over and over again. Or like I remember there was a video that do you remember Ned's Declassified?
Yeah, I love that show.
Um, there was because like those three people they like made a podcast or whatever, and the girl she had made a TikTok like, "Yo, Spider-Man's been rebooted like a million times. Why don't they reboot Ned's Declassified?" And then like I just kept getting TikToks of people shit talking her. I'm like, why am I getting TikToks saying the same stuff about this person? And then also of course leading up to the election, I had a bunch of and I did have some fun, really amazing, incredible TikToks. But then I was like also getting TikToks leading up to the election, like, y'all, Kamala's gonna win a landslide. Here's why. And I would just get a million of those. I was stuck in that algorithm. And then election day happened. And yeah. Um I, he won fairly with like not even just electoral college. I feel like a lot of the mantra has been, you know, democracy is at risk, but we voted for it. So I don't even know if I can say that. And now he's like shit talking Canada. Like, why you gotta shit talk Canada? I'm kind of all over the place right now. But I will say, since deleting my social media, you know, because it's not just political stuff, like it just, I felt like it's kind of mind numbing. And since deleting my social media, I do feel like my head is a lot less cloudy. Like I do feel less anxious, a little less depressed, and just like that, like brain fog and like brain rot that I had. It has subsided a little bit. I still use Reddit and shit. But like I try to avoid the popular stuff, and like I do have like a little bit of FOMO because I feel like there's like some people that I still wish I was in contact with. Like there's some people whose contact information I forgot to get, so now there's no way for me to get them. Uh, which I feel little bit bad about that. But then at the same time, I feel like social media gave me FOMO sometimes too. So I think overall it has been kind of an improvement. Um, I'm gonna just pass the microphone to Tristan. Say something.
Hold on. Can you pass it to me through the camera, please?
Yes. Yeah, got it.
Thank you. I got it.
All right, cool.
Is it this way or this way?
It's the other way. The other
This
way.
way.
Flip it.
Okay, perfect. These Pilot gel pens slash microphones, fantastic. But oh, I can't even hear you. Here you go. Take it back. There you
Oh,
go.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was lost
Yeah,
in the
because you have
ether
your own
there for a
microphone.
second.
Yeah,
Fabulous. Okay, well, I admire what you did there because if I had the strength to do it, I would. But like you said, I use it for
yeah,
communication,
yeah,
and there's that element to it that I would miss out on. But I've never really been pro social media. I think it has been more bad,
yeah,
especially for people who can't use it responsibly, than good.
yeah,
Especially since I saw a documentary called what is it called? The Social Experiment or something like that. And it kind of tells you like how you're being used by these
yeah.
social media teams. They're
Hmm.
using your attention against you.
Yeah. So much
Um,
rage bait.
and I hate it. And it takes so much time
Hmm.
away from you because even me, like when I'm bored, if I'm sitting somewhere and I don't have something to do for 10 seconds, I pull out my phone and I tap Instagram or Facebook.
Yeah,
But then 10 seconds turns into 10 minutes. And imagine how much time that takes away from you. Um,
yeah,
so I'm right there with you. I do not like how social media has been used and
It's
targeting
just not
people.
it's
Yeah.
just not like fun anymore. Like I think back to like when I was a kid, like because I've always had a computer or something, and like so like I was on the internet like in the early 2000s when it was just like bullshit, but it was like fun bullshit that wasn't like purposely trying to like the way dopamine whatever the fuck like there are people that can have better explanations as to why the internet's so goddamn addicting now, but like it just used to be like fun, and it's not fun anymore. Like sometimes there's funny memes, but like generally it's just more of like anxiously doom scrolling, sucking you in shit that I'm like, I'm done. And I think actually something that really fucking bugged me was a day or two after the election results came in, there were posts getting traction of people being suspicion that the election was stolen. I'm like, guys, no, we're not fucking doing this shit. No, no.
Yeah.
And I think I just straight up avoided any internet for a couple days after that because I'm like, no, I can't fucking do this shit. And thankfully there was enough people calling it out, and maybe it was like fucking Russian bots or something like that. Because I feel like I had seen videos and shit about how like you know fucking Russia has purposely posted gotten shit online to like divide people in the United States, create tension, on both sides, people for them, people, posts for them, posts for us, and make us all hate each other even more. I'm like, can we get away from that shit? Like,
Yeah, no, it's true.
yeah,
I don't like that. And this is social media in every realm. But like, I hate when I see a post that I know is going around and it says something, and then
mm,
I bump into someone later, like a day or two later, and they try to pass that post off as their own opinion. I'm like, but you're saying word for word
yeah,
that social media post that I just saw go around the other day. Like, so imagine how many opinions people are forming because they're being influenced by a social media
yeah,
post. And I think that free thinking, that doesn't really help people have their own strong will of thought,
no,
and I don't like that.
for sure. Because like, I feel like it's like much better to have my own opinion about certain things. So I feel like sometimes I will go online into certain forums and they might start influencing my opinion a bit. So like I try to maintain my own opinion as best I can because there are certain things that I like and I'll go onto forums and like I will realize that people will just start saying differing things from stuff like for example from this past season of Squid Game, and I feel like I've seen a little bit more favored towards what I've thought, but like there was a character. It actually wasn't even just me, but like there was a character from season 2 of Squid Game that apparently was getting a lot of hate, but I'm like, that character was one of the funniest fucking characters of the entire show. I'm like, I fucking loved him. And I think I did see more people be like, yo, why are people hating on this guy and the actor for it? Like, he was great. Um, so I was kind of glad to see that. But then I remember, and like in kind of an opposite of that, when I watched Agatha earlier this year, and like it was a pretty solid show for the most part. But I remember after the finale, I think there was something about it that like made me not so crazy about the show. I forgot what it was, but like people online have praised Agatha as one of the better Marvel shows, and for me, it's like it just wasn't like that for me. Um, so just like things like that, I feel like if I was online, like my opinion would be a little bit more influenced about certain things. So I'm like trying to have my own brain about things.
It is important to have your own brain
About things.
about all sorts of things,
Yeah,
smelly things, sticky things,
yeah,
all sorts of things. But yeah, no, I like that you chose that topic because both of our topics uh this week, this month, whatever we want to say, for this episode were about like kind of lifestyle changes that we've gone through. And mine was just seeing
yeah,
a movie for 2 weeks. It's not really that crazy, but to be able to restructure, the way you live your life and how your attention is spent, that's a big deal. So good for you.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, and granted, I'm not totally cut off. Like I said, I'm still on YouTube, I'm still on Reddit, and I still have my Finsta, but like I've been trying to moderate it. Something that I was doing for a minute was like having my phone in grayscale. So like, my phone is like in black and white.
Mhm.
So yeah, my thing is kind of blurry right now, but like because like that actually does something to you psychologically to where you don't want to look at your phone as much,
Mm.
which sometimes I turn it on and off. But that helps. And then I also actually signed up for a free library card, and there is actually an app called Libby where you can like connect your actual library card with this app and like just have so many just books at your,
Mm.
for free on your phone. I have a dumb blur effect on, but I have that Jeanette McCurdy book.
Yeah,
I have an audiobook of Man's Search for Meaning. Like, it's a good time.
that's
So,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something I think a lot of people need to, and
Yeah.
I don't even have a library card, so listen to me, but like
Yeah.
library cards are free. And I
Yeah.
think when people get away from their phone for a minute and they realize that there are these giant structures built all over the place where you can just get free information and entertainment, then that might change the trajectory of their free time a little bit. But yes, excellent topic, Tom. Hey, you know what? For once, you actually had something meaningful to say.
Dude, right? Yeah. I was
I'm
like,
shocked.
I'm glad you found it meaningful. I kind of rambled quite a bit, but yeah,
No, I
overall
dig
decent stuff. We'll see how I am in a few more months without social media. Like
it. I think
maybe
you'll do well.
hopefully I stick with it. There's a small part of me that wants to re-download TikTok just because of the potential ban, 'cause
Oh
since like
yeah,
that's probably going to be banned. Um, it's like I don't know if I feel like I don't completely buy the reason that the government's giving for banning it, but I will say TikTok has fucked up the entire generation's attention span. So for that reason, I don't mind it going away,
yeah,
despite like I kind of feel bad for the people that make their money from it and everything. But
right.
um, anyways, I will hand the rest of the show off to you.
Fabulous. Thank you, my boy. Transitioning here now into the last segment of our show. This is, of course, our Yelp review. Yelp review. Yelp review. All right.
Yeah.
So,
Bebop.
my dear friend, this Yelp review is for Slim Jim Salamis, bath supplies in support of armed civilians killing CEOs in New York City. So, a little bit of backstory here. I was looking at Google Maps. I'm a mapophile. I don't know if that's a real word, but I love looking at maps. I'll go on Google Maps and just explore places. And I was looking at New York City specifically. And like I said, I visited New York City for the first time about a year ago. And I was looking around the places I've been. And sure enough, I came across the location where, the Luigi Mangione uh, killing of the CEO Brian Thompson happened. And then I look and there's a business there and it's there and the text pops up. There's a business there across the street called Slim Jim Salami's Bath Supplies in support of armed civilians killing CEOs. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. So, of course, I had to look at some of the Yelp reviews. So, this review in particular is from user Pro Choice Kamala the Stallion. So, this is for Slim Jim Salamis.
Jesus Christ.
Every patriotic citizen of this country must visit New York City, not only for the bustling city life or the deep history of our country grounded in its roots, but for an amazing little bath and toiletry store in Midtown, supporting an important message our country needs to get behind. I'm talking about Slim Jim Salami's bath supplies in support of armed civilians killing CEOs on 6th Avenue, in between 53rd and 54th Streets. Well-educated patriots will recognize this location as the site of the beginning of the most important movement in recent years, the spot where ultimate amazing hot hero Luigi Mangione killed the tyrannous Brian Thompson, evil CEO of United Healthcare. The courageous man behind this store is a humble Midwestern man, moved to NYC to participate in this important movement. I really enjoyed talking to him when I visited the store this past week. His name is James Butthole, but he goes by his high school nickname of Slim Jim Salami. He always liked the nickname Jim over James, he told me. He grew up working at his family business of making bath soaps and other comforting toiletries, but knew that the rightful slaying of Brian Thompson was his calling to open a store of his own. As it turns out, there was a storefront for lease right across the street from the Sacred Slaughter, so Slim Jim swooped in and opened this incredible store. Here you're going to find all the bath and shower goodies you love to use at the end of a long day. High-end shampoos and conditioners, eco-friendly packaging, and a wide variety of body lotions to leave you smelling nice as you tuck into bed. His highest selling item is his bath bullets, a competitor to the bath bomb. The difference here is each product is three smaller pellets shaped like oversized bullets with the words delay, deny, and depose imprinted on them. You can get all the same color or scent or mix and match three different scents, specially crafted to complement each other. But if you're shopping for someone's birthday or perhaps a baby shower gift, I highly recommend the Luigi Mangione Mega Bundle, featuring one of every type of item available from the store, the bath bullets, a McDonald's gift card, a Greyhound bus pass, a 3D printed figure of Brian Thompson's corpse, a framed copy of Luigi's Manifesto, and a Slim Jim Salami subscription card printed to resemble Luigi's fraudulent ID used to check into his New York hotel. These items will show how thoughtful of a gift giver you are, while also being considerate with the positive change Lord Mangione started on that faithful December day. I personally use the Brian Thompson's Tyrant Blood body lotion every time before bed. In summary, I urge you to take a trip to New York City, see the Statue of Liberty, soon to be renamed Statue of Mangione if my online petition gains any traction, and buy some luxurious soap celebrating the justified homicide of an anti American serpent of death and greed. 5 out of 5 stars.
My fucking God.
Tommy, you were in New York relatively recently. Did you stop
I
by
was.
Slim Jim Salamis?
No, I don't think it opened yet because this was at the end of September. This sounds like the store opened after December.
You're right.
You did mention the Statue of Liberty though.
Yeah,
That always
Statue of
sounded like a
Mangione.
tourist trap that I never wanted to do,
Hmm.
but I did go to it because the ferry to Ellis Island also went to that, and honestly, it was fucking great. One of the best deals in New York, $25 for a ferry to the Liberty Island and that. But anyways, regarding this,
Yeah.
um, for legal purposes, two useless organisms does not support any murder, I guess. The memes are really fucking funny though.
I don't know.
I,
Tell that to all these freaking young liberals here. And politically, Tommy, I think me and you are more alike than different. But
yeah,
there's a lot of people out there who are
yeah.
making this seem like something. It's like, yeah, he's good. He deserved to die. This is a good movie.
Oh
And
no, I
I'm sitting
mean
here like, fuck me, man. This is crazy.
yeah, no, no, I totally get it. And the memes that have come out of it, I'm laughing at them quite a bit. It's pretty fucking great. Um, there was one, it was like, a picture of the guy from The Sopranos, and it was like me when I found out the killer's name is Luigi Mangione. Then it's like the character from The Sopranos is anti-Italian discrimination, and just there's so much good content.
Hmm. So I guess someone delved into his public Spotify playlist, and one of my favorite bands, a band called Chat Pile, metal band from Oklahoma, it was in his playlist. So I was like, "Ooh, oh goodness gracious!" But
Oh shit! Damn. See, now I want to see what his playlist was.
I
Damn,
don't know if you'll be able to find it out because I bet a bunch of fake people made profiles,
probably.
you know. But anyway, I don't know.
Probably. But then I
Uh,
feel like there was playlists that were like on my way to kill a CEO in New York and shit like that. Like just people going really unhinged. I wish I could find these playlists. I
on that
thought I saved
positive
them.
note, Tommy
Oh yeah,
will let us know later
Spotify's
if he
kicking
finds
us out,
them.
not Spotify.
Thanks for listening. Leave a
You
rating on
listen,
Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow our social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, and support the show for as little as $3 a month. Thanks. Don't kill any CEOs, please.
we love you, Luigi.
We love you, Louis.
Two useless organisms. Two useless organisms.
I'm already gonna be on a list for laughing at this shit.
I'm going to cut everything you said.
The
I don't
memes are
care.
funny. I don't give a fuck.